Liberia Broadcasting System in Painesville. Good afternoon and welcome to Newsline, one full hour of all the news events taking place in Liberia and the rest of the world. It's midweek, Wednesday, July 31, 2024. I'm Alpha Rogers presenting. In the headlines this afternoon, government launches special agro-industrial processing zone in Monrovia.
Implementation is our problem in this country, and that's why we got to be more practical now and stop talking.
Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission says its ongoing corruption investigation is not politically motivated. Labour Ministry hails international partners for support to combat human trafficking in Liberia. And away from home, Sudan's military leader, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, survives an assassination attempt. Also coming up is a commentary titled Embracing the Recommendations from the July 26 oration. Details of these interesting stories, the news in French, sports, plus more, all coming up on the program this afternoon. First, here is Afle Kamara and the news bulletin.
Vice President Jeremiah Kong wants public figures take practical approach in fostering national development. VP Kong said Liberia can only move forward if public officials talk less and act more in supporting key sectors of economic development. The Liberian Vice President made a call Wednesday on Buja Island at the official launch of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone SAPZ.
Implementation is our problem in this country, and that's why we got to be more practical now and stop talking. When it comes to talking, somebody put out a projector here, you just saw the city. We've been discussing our city it was about 2007, and I saw the whole city. I even see the people that start moving the bricks because they got to put the kitchen first.
The Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone is intended to increase household incomes, foster job creation in rural agricultural communities, and enhance food and nutritional security in Liberia. The Liberian Vice President also reaffirmed government's commitment to improving the well-being of citizens. Former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf says she supports any action that tends to expose and address corruption in the country. Madam Johnson Sirleaf's statement come at a time government has launched a major crackdown on corruption with the arrest of several former government officials on allegation of corruption. The former Liberian leader said June her tenure, she made efforts to fight the menace but to no avail.
We have continued to address it. We have not been successful totally. I know we tried sometimes to put in the systems. We try to make sure that prevention is better than cure by making sure that we talk about what it takes for honesty, how corruption undermines nations' progress.
Former President Sirleaf said she remains supportive to the fight because corruption undermines the progress of a nation. Meanwhile, the former president has suggested the introduction of new approaches towards the fight against corruption by educating children of school-going age about the value of integrity and honesty. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission says its ongoing corruption investigation is not politically motivated, as claimed in some quarters. The LECC Executive Chairperson, Councillor Alexandra Zoe, told the LBC Wednesday in Bon County that the LECC is acting on audits conducted by the General Auditing Commission. Councillor Zoe said they have gathered sufficient information about alleged acts of corruption by current officials of government, which the LECC will put out soon. She assured the public that the LECC will remain non-political in the implementation of its mandate of preventing, investigating, and prosecuting corruption. The LECC boss wants Liberians denounce the culture of acceptance and hold public officials accountable. Meanwhile, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has reaffirmed its commitment to fighting corruption and restoring the culture of accountability in Liberia. The LECC has been making some inroads lately with the indictment of several former officials of government. Speaking Wednesday in Bangabon County, LECC Executive Chairperson Councillor Alexandra Zoe vowed there will be no business as usual in fighting the menace.
The message is simple and clear. I mean, there's no business as usual. Now is the time to hold our public officials accountable. And now is the time to just basically educate our entire populace about the issue of corruption. Corruption is something that hinders development.
Councillor Zoe said corruption has taken a lot away from Liberia and believes citizens can push for better lives if they hold leaders accountable for their stewardship. She was addressing the start of a 2-day workshop on empowering citizens and communities to foster special accountability and transparency in governance and public service delivery. The training is taking place nationwide and sponsored by UNDP under the Peace Building Fund. Government has confirmed the suspension of Central Bank Governor Aloysius Talo in response to findings from a recent General Auditing Commission's audit report. Reports about the CBL governor's suspension by President Joseph Boakai surfaced in the media Tuesday, July 30. Information Minister Jeremy Pia said the suspension is a direct result of the GAC audit report, which requires Governor Talo's temporary removal from office to address the audit's findings.
The situation at the central bank is considered fluid and further determinations will be made depending on available information. But as of the moment, it is the executive governor of the bank who is hereby suspended.
Minister Pia also re-emphasized government's commitment to accountability and transparency at the Central Bank of Liberia. He made a statement Tuesday at MICA's press briefing in Monrovia. Deputy Labour Minister of Administration Othello Monsuo has hailed international partners for their ongoing efforts to combat human trafficking in Liberia. Minister Monsuo said the continued support from partners have not only strengthened awareness but also play a crucial role in providing resources to victims of trafficking. He also noted that the ministry acknowledges the recent U.S. State Department of State's annual trafficking report in persons, which has downgraded Liberia from Tier 2 to Tier 3 watch list. The Deputy Labour Minister said the downgrade reflects the significant challenges in the country's fight against trafficking. According to the Labour Ministry release, Minister Monsuo made a statement Tuesday at program marking World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. 8 prospective graduates of the EJNC Multilateral High School in Lower Bond County are expected to attend one semester each before graduation. According to our correspondent, the students have already taken the West African examination or secondary school certificate examinations this year, but still have some deficiencies at the school. A correspondent quotes the administration of the EJNC Multilateral High School as saying the move will enable the students complete their academic requirements. The administration of the school said the students will not graduate if they fail to complete the academic requirements in line with the curriculum. Meanwhile, the administration has urged the student community to ensure that the right thing is done. And a fundraising event has been organized for survivors of the July 29 and 30, 1990 Lutheran Church massacre. The event marks the 34th anniversary of the massacre of Liberians who were seeking refuge at the Lutheran Church in Cinco. The event was organized by Lutheran Church Massacre Survivors Association with local and international guests, including the survivors themselves, sharing their experiences. Executive Director of Lumasa, Marcus Kwekwa, is challenging the government and the armed forces of Liberia to take responsibility for the Lutheran Church massacre 34 years ago. Mr. Kwakwa believes that is of utmost significance that the army, as a symbol of protection and justice, take the lead in acknowledging the pain and suffering endured by victims.
Fafle Kamara and the news bulletin. He comes back a little later. That's when you listen to the international news and our weather update. This is Newsline on State Radio. One of the big stories we're following, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission says its ongoing corruption investigation is not politically motivated. Today's rundown, state actors have been urged to talk less and act more in supporting various sectors in Liberia. Vice President Jeremiah Kun believes such move will foster national development. The Liberian Vice President spoke Wednesday on Bushwood Island at the official launch of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone.
Implementation is our problem in this country, and that's why we got to be more practical now.